So once again, we have a birthday photo of Archie that makes absolutely no sense. I mean, these Invisi kids, they're invisible birthdays? I mean, like, what do you call that? Is that like a half birthday? What exactly do you call an Invisi kid's birthday? But let's just say their birthdays are more cause for Meghan to screw up and give a clue that these kids aren't real than they are an opportunity for her to confirm their existence. So let's get into this. Before we get started, please do me a favor and hit that like button. And when you get to the end, I do hope you leave a comment, leave an emoji. Just tell me anything you want to tell me. It's been a while and I missed you guys, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this. So this year we get two pictures instead of one sunset picture where none of the shadows line up. We get two pictures to look at this year. Now, the first one, I'm not even going to comment on the ridiculousness of it being so far away that you can't even tell whose kids these could even potentially be. I mean, I get it. They don't want to show their faces. We all know why. But even if there was a legitimate reason not to show their face, zoom in a little bit. You don't need to see all that big blue sky. Like, that's the most ridiculous photo I've ever seen in my entire life, let alone for someone who is supposedly a prince of the UK. But taking that out of it, these kids aren't growing at all. I mean, part of growing is going to be that, say, Archie hits a growth spurt at a different time than Lily does, and so the difference in their sizes is going to change from time to time. These two, it doesn't change. It's always the same difference. And given the fact that if you look at William, Harry, somewhat Charles, but William, Harry, Diana, then even Charlotte and George, they're all fairly tall, most likely from Diana. So the fact that Archie is not hitting any sort of a growth spurt, it's not making any sense to me. At some point, this kid should kind of shoot up a bit. It won't be the final growth spurt, obviously, because that'll happen when he's, prepubescent or whatever. But at this point, he should have had some sort of growth spurt that he's going to look much bigger than Lily. But nope, doesn't happen, because, that would be what happens when there are real children. Now, this is the one that I consider more interesting for a couple of reasons. First off, do I think it's possible that if there are actual children, Meghan throws all the pictures into a box and she can't keep track of which is Lily and which is Archie? Yeah, sadly I could. I mean, most moms don't. I can look at any picture of either of my kids and I know exactly which one it is. Do I think she might not? Yeah, definitely. But the thing that kind of jumps out at me is this would have to be Frogmore Cottage. Okay, the background doesn't look like a hospital, although it could be a hospital that a royal might go to. But even still, I'm going to say that looks more like a bedroom. Although the fact that the bed is like up, like as though it's like a bed that moves, I'm not liking that. But so maybe it is a hospital room. I don't know. But either way, it couldn't be a hospital room if this is Archie. Because remember, they were in and out in like an hour. They weren't, sitting there having bonding moments with photos. After all, Megsey was on a deadline. She had to get out of the hospital faster than Catherine got out of the hospital when Catherine went to have a baby. And so she had to beat that out. That's why she came up with that ridiculous timeline. Don't believe me? Here we go. A lot of you as well. When we read Spare and we heard the story of Archie's birth, we found out that Meghan Markle gave birth and was back home in 2 hours. Well, anybody who's had a child knows that's BS. But it's such extreme BS that we have to question where would she come up with 2 hours? It's so ridiculous, but where did it come from? And I think I found the answer.
So when news broke of Kate actually having given birth, I think at 8:34 in the morning on that Saturday, the press obviously instantly started speculating, well, will she leave today? And thinking as a mother, I thought, yeah, she definitely will, because you don't necessarily want to hang around hospitals too long, even if they are the Lindo wing and private and offering all frills. Equally, there's a sense, I think, if you have a second child, that you want to get back to your first. So people sort of looking at their watches thinking, can she do this? Can she have a baby by breakfast and be home at Kensington Palace for tea? And when we got wind of the fact that Kate's hairdresser had gone into the building, we knew, oh, hang on, you know, she's going to make an appearance. In vintage Duchess of Cambridge style, she turns out in high heels and looking effortlessly elegant, even though she's given birth just hours earlier, which is testament to her and how she's able to cope.
Now, for me, that answers it right there. Catherine did it quickly. She gave birth, gussied up, and was out on the stairs taking the photo on her way home. Meghan had to beat it. And so, since Catherine did it, have the baby at noon, be home by tea time, Meghan had to beat it. And she did. She beat it 2 hours because she always has to win. She always has to one-up Catherine. And that's why I finally think that I found the answer as to why it is. She says she was home in 2 hours. This was said about Catherine about at least 2 of her births. I don't remember about Louis. I wasn't able to find anything specific about Louis, but definitely it was said how quickly she was taking those photos after giving birth to George and Charlotte, so Meghan had to beat her.
Don't make me go Cobra. I will go Oprah on your ass. Don't make me.
So this wouldn't be lingering at the hospital. It would have to be Frogmore Cottage. And that background, admittedly, we have certainly not seen all of it, but that doesn't look to me like what we have seen of the rooms at Frogmore. So I don't think that this could possibly be Archie. Again, could she have put the pictures in a box and she doesn't remember which one's which? Yes, of course. We know she could. But there's still something very off about this to me. I mean, I could go through and show you a bunch of the different rooms in Frogmore Cottage, the things that we've seen, and it just doesn't fit the style. To me, it looks as though most of Frogmore Cottage has some sort of molding. It has some sort of, wainscoting. None of the walls are that stark. Now, you can, of course, say you can't really see the walls, and that's a fair comment. I'm just saying that to me, if we are looking at this photo, for example, on the left, and saying that is Frogmore Cottage, then the photo with Harry and the infant is most certainly not Frogmore Cottage. I was looking for photos for this video, things to use as examples. I, of course, do a search, and I came up with a couple other pictures that were interesting enough that I wanted to make a comment on them. For example, this one. Notice Harry is wearing the gray shirt, and Lily has that frilly little dress on, but her hair, she has a visor on, and her hair is in braids. Okay, well, except, again, look at her size, and let's look at this photo. Harry is wearing the same shirt. She's wearing the same little frilly dress. Arguably, he's wearing the same shorts, only now her hair is down. So clearly it's a different day. Does the guy want anything other than a gray shirt? No, not really. And even though he does own multiple gray shirts, those seem to be the only ones that he takes pictures in. And that's the important point. Not how many t-shirts does Harry have, but when you have him appearing time and time again in the same t-shirt, that's done intentionally so that they can be swapped out for each other in photoshopping because he's already wearing, he's wearing the same shirt. It's done intentionally for the purpose of then swapping people in and out of photos. For me, that's like saying that no matter how authentic any one photo may be, the fact that they consider the potential for it to be inauthentic is all that it requires for me to no longer trust any of them. I hope that makes sense. And I'm sorry if you could hear that loud plane that just flew over my head. I don't know, maybe it's the aliens. But I apologize if that was distracting. Now, one more photo that I wanted to look at is this one. I haven't commented on it really. I just wanted to comment on it because this one bothers me. Not because of the photo itself, but because of what it reminds me of. Whenever I see this photo, all I can think about is this. And what upsets me about this is not that I think Harry is imitating his mom. I don't think Harry even knows anything about that photo until the day it came out. It's that, and I don't think he did it out of jealousy or anything like that, because like I said, I don't think he saw the photo until it came out. But the thing that bothers me about it is that the one person we all know did know this photo and knew it very well and wanted to evoke the same emotion, and that's Meghan. And that's where the problem comes in for me. She has no problem using that emotion against anyone and everyone, against us as we look at it, against Harry as he looks at it. That's the thing that's disturbing about it. Not simply that she's mimicking something, but she's mimicking something that evokes such strong emotion and could potentially be, hurtful emotions or painful emotions for Harry, and she could care less. So that's what bothers me about it. Not that it happened, but what it has to mean about Meghan for this picture to have gone out. So what is my final evaluation? Well, clearly, we all know, and I've always known, none of these photos are real. None of them are real. The kids aren't real. Everything's made up. Even if the kids were real, all of these photos are made up. And this is Meghan, once again, just trying to play a game. But as far as I can tell, if he's 7, age 8, this can't go on. Okay? Because the kid has to have changed. He must grow and mature. And so she's running out of time. Because she's going to have to come up with a real kid at some point. And especially to me, them not bringing the kids to Australia, that was a mistake on their part. That pretty much sealed the deal to me, that there are no kids. If there are kids, you are not going to go to Australia and leave them home. They are not babies anymore. They are not infants. You would bring them with you to experience the trip. So to me, that's a done deal. But, age 8, she can't keep this up. Especially the Invictus Games. Is that what it's going to be? The big reveal that the kids don't exist? But Harry's going to bring himself to the UK for the Invictus Games and we're all going to forget about it because, oh, thank God Harry's home? I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that being the scenario that plays out here. But as always, I am anxious to hear your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Let me know whether or not you believe these photos and whether or not you believe Meghan is hitting that end point where this isn't going to fly anymore. And they're going to have to come up with a plan B. I mean, what? Is that when they get the divorce and then her and the kids kind of retreat behind a wall? That's not going to work. Maybe Harry does that with the kids, but, you let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll catch you in the next one.